Hi guys, Dr. Mel, and we're busy with physics, and we're going to have a look at the photoelectric, specifically applied on different atoms and elements. So let's have a look at the emission and absorption spectra. So firstly, we're going back to white light, and white light going into a prism will actually refract the light in different frequencies or wavelengths. So we've got red at the top there with a longer wavelength but a shorter frequency. And the frequency we can interpret then in terms of our equation as having a lower energy, because the frequency is lower, the energy is lower of red light. On the other hand, comparing the violet with the red, we've got a smaller wavelength but a higher frequency. And that again says to me the energy is higher because the frequency is higher. So we use this specific characteristic of light in a few applications. Now, firstly, you can see visible light there, and it's a very small portion of our electromagnetic spectrum. We can use an instrument which we call a spectroscope. Now, this is a handheld spectroscope. We find many others in the chemical industry where we can actually have gases going through, and it's tubes that they use, and you can then from this side have a look at it with your eye, and you can be able to identify the different elements if you didn't know in which compound you are working with. Now let's have a look at this. An element in the gaseous phase. Now guys, it's important, it has to be a gas. If you put any solid or liquid in front of this, you're not going to see anything. Will emit light. Then this specific apparatus will pass the light through a prism exactly as I've shown you just now, and you will see a line spectrum. Now I've got here the hydrogen line spectrum, and I've got the helium line spectrum, and you can see they differ quite a lot. So each of these elements, it's just on this slide the hydrogen and helium, but every element in the periodic table, let me just stress that again, in the gaseous phase will have its specific signature, and you'll be able to identify, if you know which signature you have, you can compare and see this is the element I have in front of me. So it's important we use this emission spectrum. This is, for instance, a kind of series that you'll get, and this is very complicated, but you will be able to identify with these colors which element is in front of me. Right, let's just have a look at the theory again. Remember, we've got a light photon, the particles of light going in at a certain frequency, therefore a certain energy. That light will be shone on the metal, and you know an electron will be emitted. Be careful. Remember, there's a work function or there's a threshold frequency. If this energy going in is higher than this, it will emit a photoelectron. We also find that when light is coming in and an electron is going down, it will then again emit a photon. And a photon, you know, is a particle of light. So we actually see the energy being lowered from there to this part, to this lower energy level, and light in terms of photons will be emitted. So you will see light coming from there. And then finally, you can also see another way. As soon as that one is going down, you can see it will emit an electron, or in our phase now, we now say it is a photon of light. Remember when we do chemistry that we've got a 1s orbital at the lowest energy level. This is usually energy level 1. We've got p and s orbitals in the second energy level. We've got on the third level, we've got an S, a P, as well as a D. That is energy level 3. And then we've got energy level 4, S, P, and D. And we're not going into the chemistry now, but the important thing that you have to recognize is that further away from the nucleus, the more departed it is from the nucleus, the more energy it has. I always compare an energy further away from the nucleus to a grade 12 pupil or learner. The more you are away from the parents, you've got more energy. As soon as you go home, which is nearer to the nucleus, you lie on your bed, you sit, you sloth because you've got lower energy. Why is that the case? Because the nucleus has an attractive force on this electron. But if it's further away, obviously the electrostatic force is less. And these electrons, like grade 12s going on their matric rages, they've got lots of energy when they're further away from the nucleus. And in your terms, home. Right, let's have a look at different series. Now, they've identified different series with the fact that it's coming down from a different level. Can you see the Lyman series have got a few electrons coming from different levels there, and it will exhibit different colors because we know the energy is related to the frequency is related to the color. And you can see this is just another way of putting it. Can you see here's the Paschen, the Lyman, and the Balmer series. So you can see the different light being emitted there. Now, electrons can transition to a higher energy level. So I'm taking an electron from a lower energy level and I can take it to a higher energy level. How can you do that? When the element cools down, the electron will then return to the original energy level. So it's being lifted to a higher energy level, most probably with heat, and then it will return. And can you see, as soon as it returns to the lower energy, it will emit light, and that's the light that you will see. Again, this will be particles, and because light has the dual characteristic of being a wave as well as a particle, you will see this as a specific color. The atomic line emission is emitting, it's going out, is actually related to the difference between the energy levels. So what we have here, if we have an energy level there and we've got another one there, the difference between these two will be emitted as light. So I'm going to say this is energy level 2, this is energy level 1, and as soon as this electron goes down to E1, it will emit the difference in the energy as light, and you can calculate it with the constant that we have. Let's have a look at another atomic emission spectra. So let's have a look at this. Yeah, an element in a gaseous phase, guys, I'm going to stress this every time. It has to be a gas, will emit light through a prism, and we saw what a prism could do in our first slide. And this light that it emits can be observed, and you know now we can see one of 3 spectra. You can see a continuous spectra. Remember, that's the one that we saw right in the beginning. Let me quickly take you back to that. This will be a continuous spectrum. We can also see an emission spectrum. And can you see, this is very specific lines. Therefore, we call it emission lines. And then finally, and I'll compare these 3 just now, you can see I've got this area around the line which has got a certain color, and that will be the absorption lines. So let us compare these 3 different spectra. I've got the continuous spectra. It's produced when white light, and it has to be hot, it goes through, you know now, a prism or a diffraction spectra. There's many transitions between the energy levels, and the photons of all the energies will be radiated. That is the continuous one. Let's just have a look at the picture again. This is the continuous one. Right, let's have a look at the line emission. It already tells you which one it is. It's a line. It's emitted by hot gases under low pressure. The electrons make a transition from the higher to the lower energy level, and the photons of specific energies are then radiated. Remember, it's going from there to there, and it's emitting light. And just to show you a picture again, can you see that specific light? This specific light and that specific light is being emitted. Finally, we've got the absorption spectra. Dark lines after white light passes a cold gas. So you can see I've got hot gas there. I've got cold gas there. The electrons make transitions from a lower to a higher energy level. And it is again photons with specific energy. Now let's have a look where we can see this. Can you see this? There's no color here, but you can see it's a continuous emission spectra. It's white light going into the prism, and you can see it's continuous. If it's going through a cold gas, you can see the line spectra there. And if it's a hot gas, you can see that absorption there. So it's important, guys, that you distinguish, but we don't ask many of these questions in the grade 12 exams. It's usually a 2 to a 5 pointer. But you will have to know this if you study chemistry at varsity or in a chemical industry, you will be utilizing these principles. A typical question is the following. A teacher in a science class explains how different types of spectra are obtained. You know 3 spectra now. The teacher uses the simplified diagram to show what the different spectra will be. Now, here you can see there's a spectrum Z and there's a spectrum Y. The difference between the 2 spectra will be caused because there's a cold gas through which this light is going, and there's a hot gas that's emitting light. Remember, this is emitting light. So the light is coming from there. So important that I know that. Now, what will the answer be? What will the type of spectrum be that we see with Y? So we see Y is this hot gas. So I know this will be a line spectrum. And then the second question, what will the Z spectrum be? Well, the Z has got this cold gas, so this will be the absorption. So be very careful that you don't confuse yourself with these 3. It's not as difficult if you just go and study the theory behind this. A typical question can also look something like this. An excited atom. Well, it's not excited because it knows it's almost finished with grade 12. It's excited because it got energy from some or other source. Can jump from a lower energy to a higher energy. So it's going from a lower energy to a higher energy. So it goes from this side up to that side. This is the higher energy. This is the lower energy. They also drop from higher energy levels to the lower. And you can see here, it can drop from energy level 4 to 3. In this case, it went from 4 to 2 and another one from 3 to 2. And interesting in this question, they actually give you the energy level. They tell you exactly what the value of the level is. And you can see it's in joules. Right, what's the question? They asked me to say, do the transitions indicated in the diagram lead to an absorption or an emission spectrum? Now, what we see here is that when it's dropping down, it will emit light. Therefore, the answer will be an emission spectrum. Second question. Calculate the frequency. So they're asking me the frequency of the photon. So I know this is the energy of a photon. They want me to calculate the energy of the photon produced when an electron in an excited atom makes a transition from, they clearly indicate to me, from the level 4 to level 2. So you've got level 4 there, you've got level 2 down here, and they want you to calculate firstly the frequency by using the two energies. Now, if we go back to our values, you're going to use the fourth and the second level energy. So I'm going to put an equation in there. I'm going to say the energy difference will be the energy of 4 minus the energy of 2. You can just transfer the values, and it is on the previous slide. I'm just writing them down. And I've got the second level as 1.635 times 10 to the minus 18. I then put this into my calculator and I find a value of 4.09 times 10 to the minus 19 joules. Let's go back to the question. Calculate the frequency. So we haven't answered the complete question yet. I now have to take this energy, and I know this is now the energy of the photon, and I now have to find the frequency. You know what's Planck's constant? It will be 6.63 times 10 to the minus 34. You have this energy. It's the same as 4.09. Your frequency will thus be your energy of the photon over the Planck constant, and I got a value of 6.17 times 10 to the 14. And remember, I've got hertz as a unit. Now, guys, be careful just sitting and watching a lesson like this. You will just be the audience. You will just sit on the pavilion watching a soccer match. You have to take your pen. You have to be busy with your calculator on a piece of paper and do every calculation with me. Otherwise, you're not going to really engage with the learning material. So be active when you watch these videos. It's really important that you are working with me. A threshold frequency. You remember what that is. A threshold frequency is a specific value in hertz. Calculate the kinetic energy. Now, let's just remind ourselves again. I need to calculate the kinetic energy when the photon of the most energetic electron is ejected. When this photon produced above is incident on the surface. Now, we're still busy with the same question. So what they're asking me now is to calculate this, the kinetic energy. So what's my initial equation? I know the energy of the photon going in is equal to the work function plus the kinetic energy. This is what they're asking me to calculate. I've got the energy of the photon. If you have a look at this previous slide, we calculated to be 4.09 times 10 to the value of minus 19. Remember, that was in joules. I have the frequency, the threshold frequency, not the working function. So I can calculate again HF. It's also applicable here. I'm going to put in Planck's constant. I'm going to multiply that with this frequency that they gave me now, 4.4 times 10 to the 14th, and I'm going to calculate the kinetic energy. Now, if you calculate that and you subtract it from that answer, you will get your kinetic energy to be 1.17 times 10 to the minus 19 joules. Now, important, obviously, this energy going in was higher than the working function. Therefore, it could emit an electron and it had a specific kinetic energy. And last question, another metal with another value for a threshold frequency. And you can see that frequency is a bit different to the one we had. In actual fact, It's 7.5 and 4.4. And they now ask me, will the photon produced above this be ejecting electrons? Now, what you can see is that if I calculate this value for the working function, and I take this threshold, I'm going to get a value of something different. 7.5 is now my frequency. And if I calculate that, I get a value of 4.973 times 10 to the minus 19. Now remember, the photon that went in, the initial energy was 4.09.10 to the minus 19. And you can now see this working function is higher. This is greater than that. So no electrons will be emitted because the working function is greater than the energy of the photon. So it's keeping that specific metal, is keeping its electrons faster against it. So what did we do? We actually had a look at atomic spectra and atomic absorption, as well as the emitting spectra. So remember, I've got energy on electrons that can go up, and coming down, it can emit definitely energy. And this energy I can again relate to a frequency, and you know frequency will be a specific color. It's very important that you know there's big applications for this portion, but it's a very small part of your photoelectric chapter. I hope you enjoyed working with this energy. Bye-bye.